Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So Ron DeSantis has taken total control over the redistricting process in Florida. This was news that's been out for a few days now. However, last night, we finally got one glimpse of the map out of Florida, and it is beautiful. Ron DeSantis actually took control, and he shored up pretty much all of the swing seats in a lot of these maps that were initially proposed by the Florida state legislature, which was not exactly in line with his demands, but they finally just gave up. They gave him the total control over the redistricting process, and as a result, he made it a 20-8 map in terms of 20-8 safe Republican, pretty much. There's still a couple swing seats, and we are going to get into this, but he's decided to just basically say, hey, I'm going to run out the clock, I'm going to take a stand, and I'm actually going to do something where all these other Republicans across the nation are either just too chicken shit to do it, or they're even caving in and giving favorable maps to the Democrats. When you have Democrats in states like Illinois and New York, they just don't care. They're going full Machiavellian mode. They're drawing Republicans out of districts. I mean, you look at that one like New York district that we saw, I believe, the New York district, it was like it climbed. If we could pull up the New York district, which, by the way, it seems as if the litigation doesn't seem to be working out in the Republicans' favor so far. But you look at some of these districts, like I said, that third district, like some of the way that they're drawing these districts, they just want to shut out the opposition from having a voice in these blue states, these big blue states where there should be like 6 or 7 red seats. They're going to limit that to 2 or 3 safe reds and maybe a few competitive ones. Yet Republicans in like Texas, they didn't exactly draw the most Republican favorable map, but Ron DeSantis sees what's going on in Florida, and he's decided to do essentially the same thing with this recent map that he has proposed that will likely be implemented. So we're going to get into this, but I have to tell you guys that you need to check out shop.redeaglepolitics.com. The link will be in the pinned comment because we have merchandise now. It's been well over 3 years that I've had this channel, and we finally have merch. We have Red Wave designs. We have the America First mugs. We have all sorts of epic designs, t-shirts, coffee mugs, tank tops, you name it. We've got everything. We've got stickers. You can use those as decals. Put them on your laptop. Put them on your car. Everybody loves the merchandise so far, so I'd recommend getting some while supplies last at shop.redeaglepolitics.com. So you look at this old map right here. In a lot of these districts on this map, you had a lot of Republican districts that were not exactly shored up into the Republican column that possibly could have. You had about the same amount of safe Republican seats, and then you had this essentially the same amount of safe Democrat seats, and you had maybe some more right-leaning swing districts, and I agree, you probably would have a 20-8 map after this midterm because it is likely to be a Republican-favorable midterm, but as soon as you ever get a Dem-favorable midterm in the state, that map is going to be back to, you could even say, maybe not even 16-12, but 15-13 potentially. Not exactly the best map in a swing state that is zooming to the right. So you have Ron DeSantis, he goes out here and he draws this map that shores up a lot of these lean Republican or swing districts into safe Republican hands, and that's genius. We love to see it. We need more conservative leaders to actually take a stand and do something for once. Actually fight back against what the left is doing in California, what they're doing in Illinois, what they're doing in New York, you name it, across the entire country. Whether they're doing it in their independent commissions that have like 2 token Romney Republicans on it, or whether it's their governments doing it. We understand that Republicans have been weak when it comes to redistricting this cycle. If Democrats are going to be going all out, they should be going all out. But it's nice to see what we're seeing here in Florida, because this is a state that is not exactly going to be a swing state anymore. It's going to be a lean to likely Republican state. Ron DeSantis is going to cruise to re-election. I did a video on Florida a couple weeks ago talking about this, and you could look and you could see the voter registration numbers out of Florida. I think that this is a couple of months old potentially. I think that the Republicans have gained even more since then. But you go back to 2017, this is, when Trump won the state in 2016, he won it by around 100,000, 120,000 votes or so. and Democrats still held a 300,000 vote lead in terms of party registration. And you see Republicans start to take the lead. A lot of people are moving to Florida. A lot of people are attracted to Florida because it has conservative leadership. A lot of, old boomers from the North, either in blue states or swing states across the Midwest and the Northeast, are moving to Florida. And the state is going to be a solid red state for probably a couple decades to come or so. I mean, I can't predict the future beyond that point, but what we do know is that Florida is not this swing state anymore. It's not going to be razor thin. It's still probably going to be closer than your average state in the country, but still, it's going to go Republican by, I think in 2024, by 5 to 10 points. I think Ron DeSantis and Rubio could probably win the state by more than 10. We love Ron DeSantis, not really the biggest fan of Marco Rubio, but he's probably going to win by a solid margin. And it just shows that the people in Florida are very upset with the left. It is not a state that is going to be favorable for the Democrats. The Democrats themselves are likely going to write off Florida after 2022 and 2024. I mean, their party apparatus in the state is basically nothing, and it's going to allow for the state to have more conservative Republican policies start to take effect. And we saw this today. Ron DeSantis decided to go ahead and ban abortion after 15 weeks without any exceptions in the state of Florida. After 15 weeks, again, we could argue that that doesn't go far enough, but this is the first time that DeSantis has actually really taken a stand on the abortion issue, after saying, I believe people were speculating that he really wouldn't, but he has decided to do so after 15 weeks. That's good. It's a good starting point, but as you see, Florida's becoming more and more Republican. It's becoming more and more conservative, and you're going to see even more conservative policies take effect. And you saw this with Ron DeSantis signing into law the Don't Groom Kids bill, which, again, I don't believe went far enough, but it's a step in the right direction. It's definitely going to make a lot of leftists look upon the state in a negative light, the same way that a lot of conservatives look upon California in a negative light, because they are promoting liberal policies. If you actually implement some solid, innovative, conservative policies to actually fight back against the left's agenda and the left's stranglehold on education and culture, then I think at the end of the day, you're going to be attracting a lot more conservatives to your state, and you're actually going to start to reverse the decline of our country into this neoliberalism. So I really admire DeSantis for doing that. And you look at what he's doing with redistricting, and I just think that it's emblematic of his solid leadership. Very good governor. We love to see it. And he's actually doing something. And a lot of these other Republicans, they don't. Ohio couldn't get a decent map because of the fact that you had a Republican Supreme Court justice holding it up. I mean, North Carolina, hopefully you'll get some Republicans on the Supreme Court that could potentially, they could redraw the map and make it more favorable. But Republicans across the country, look at Indiana, look what happened in Nebraska. There's so many examples of them dropping the ball. They don't fight back in court adequately. Democrats have this guy, Mark Elias. He goes out there and he says Republicans are evil because they're gerrymandering. And then he'll sue states and he'll put these lawsuits forward to promote Democrat gerrymanders. You can call him a hypocrite. He is a hypocrite, but he at least understands how power works. And Republicans don't exactly have that, because if the other side is going to be going out there and they're going to be whining about Republican maps from like 2010 being a little bit too more Republican biased than the state, and then they're going to go out there and draw the maps that they're drawing across the country, like the map that they drew in New York, like this ridiculous thing. And you look at New York City, you look at Jerry Nadler's district, more like gerrymander, and you look at the 3rd district. I mean, both of those are just train wrecks. Republicans never drew a map that looked like this, like spaghetti. Like, I know New York is filled with Italians, but that doesn't mean that it's essentially a good idea for their map to look like spaghetti. But it is what it is. But I really like the map that DeSantis made. It actually looks sexy, despite being a Republican favorable map. You don't exactly see that with a lot of these maps that were drawn out of places like Ohio. I mean, you look at what some of the people on like the conservative Twitter redistricting sphere are drawing, and they're actually a lot better maps than a lot of our public elected officials drawn maps. But that's beside the point. I like what I see out of Florida. It's a fairly solid map, unlike a lot of the other Republican favorable maps that we've seen. So that's a step in the right direction. We like to see it 20-8 to the end of the decade. And you look at this and you could see this just in all the districts. The Democrats don't even have a district that's drawn that isn't 56% or less Democrat, which is really saying something. And Republicans only have like a couple swing districts that are in the Miami area anyways that are trending right. So I don't really necessarily think that those districts are going to be at risk of flipping even in a Democrat favorable year. But like I said, the state is becoming poison for Dems, and that's only going to embolden Republicans in the state. That I can guarantee you, because you have actual leadership, conservative leadership, and you don't have that in many Republican states nationwide. Yes, there's other people, and I think we could do even better than DeSantis in a lot of these other states. I like what I'm seeing in the Arizona governor's election. I think Kari Lake's going to be a great governor, and there's many other candidates running across the country that are going to be great in the midterms and beyond, but you just love to see it. This is a white pill. Florida, safe red. Even in the redistricting process, and hopefully it passes. People are going to say, well, what about the courts? I mean, he's going to run out the clock. I think he's going to run out the clock in Florida. And you look at nationwide, it's pretty much done. It's over. I mean, you have Missouri and you have New Hampshire, and Sununu screwing over Republicans. So you could tell the difference between, it's like the Virgin and Chad meme, the Virgin Sununu versus the Chad Ron DeSantis, Big Ron, Refrigerator Ron. We got all these nicknames for him. But there's only 3 states left. Florida's going to finalize theirs, and redistricting should be done probably within a month or so, and that's a good thing. So either way, we see the fact that Democrats still gained some. Republicans did start to pick it up at the end and get some of those seats back, and you're going to see even more gains out of Florida, and maybe you'll see one in New Hampshire with the map that they're drawing, but the state of Missouri, that's an interesting one for sure. The Republicans there, again, another state they're dropping the ball. What a shocker. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. And buy the merch. The link is in the pinned comment. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.